Good evening and welcome to Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium for Week 3 of the 15th anniversary season here at Wekiva High School. My name is Mark Barchi, voice of the Mustangs and sports information director here at Wekiva. I'll be joined on tonight's broadcast by Neil Fisher of the Apopka Chief. And Neil, both of these teams are looking to bounce back from Week 2 losses.
Yeah, that's a real good way to put it, Mark. Of course, I think if you looked at the overall records, you look at West Orange, they're 1-1. It's probably the bigger surprise than Wekiva coming in 0-2. We've talked about this throughout the first two games, the home games here at Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium. And that is, Wekiva is a young team, but they're very talented. And, of course, whenever you have youth, that means you're going to make a lot of mistakes. Coach Schwartz, who is also in his first year as a head coach, likes to talk about it more under the umbrella of consistency. But as the game unfolds, we will talk more about the mistakes they've made. They made a ton of mistakes last week against Ocoee, 14 penalties, but that was just the tangible. And those penalties really cost them the game. They lost 14-13. You look at West Orange, you have a team that's very senior-laden, a lot of different weapons. Coach Schwartz basically said, everywhere you look, every time the head turns, there's another stud, a stud here, a stud there, a stud everywhere. And they're probably the most talented group of players any team we will face this season. They don't have any deficiency in terms of the talent among any of the individuals or as a team. So that's, again, probably more of a surprise that they're 1-1. Now, if you look at that 1-1, they beat up on East River. That was not a surprise, a 48-0 score. And they gained 346 yards compared to 28 for East River last week. The biggest game of the season, one of those big-time rivalry games that are now only rivalries because of geography, but also because of the impact towards the playoffs. They lost to Apopka 13-0. The total yards in that game was completely different, 162 for Apopka, 83 for West Orange. So almost doubled by Apopka and more than twice the output in the first game in terms of total yards, actually over 4 times the amount in terms of the total yards produced.
All right, Neil, well, let's welcome the fans as we get ready to go here on Friday night. Good evening. Wekiva High School welcomes you to Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium for Varsity Football Competition, Week 3 of our 15th anniversary season. Please welcome our guests from West Orange High School. They are the Warriors. And they'll be taking on your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Before we begin our game this evening, we ask that you please stand and remove your hats as we honor America with a presentation of colors by the Wekiva High School Air Force Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps. Tonight's detail is under the command of Cadet Lieutenant Colonel Curtis Garrett, carrying the U.S. flag. Carrying the Florida State flag is Cadet Major Emily Esposito. Carrying the Air Force flag is Cadet Second Lieutenant Anna Summerlin. And the Rifle Guards are Cadet Major Andres Ortiz and Cadet Captain Genesis Ramirez Traverso. And now, ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing for the playing of our national anthem, performed tonight by the Pride of Wekiva, your Mustang Marching Band. Ladies and gentlemen, your Mustang marching band under the direction of Mr. Joshua Grosnipas. Our thanks also to the Wekiva High School Air Force Junior Reserve Officer Training Corps, preparing cadets for greatness. As our team captains take the field, we'll also take this opportunity to recognize our officiating crew from the Central Florida Officials Association here in Orlando. We thank them for their dedicated service to our high school athletic programs and join them along with our participating schools, reminding everyone to make great sportsmanship a part of this and every athletic competition. So, Neil, as we wait for the coin toss here, we alluded to last week, both teams frustrated. West Orange particularly stymied as they were shut out by Apopka. That is a mountain that Wekiva is going to have to climb at the end of this season. Wekiva, on the other hand, suffering a real heartbreak last week. They led the entire game until the last 60 seconds.
Yeah, actually, the last 33 seconds. And once again, we talked about this in the opening, just a ton of mistakes by Wekiva, and in particular, and there were two in particular that you could look at and say that was the difference between winning and losing. With 6:10 remaining in the third quarter, Wekiva had the ball at the Ocoee 46. They had 8 possessions. They drove into Ocoee territory on 7 of those 8 possessions. However, they were only able to score 2 touchdowns, 13 points. And again, the first mistake they made was actually a series of 3 consecutive penalties at the Ocoee 46 that dropped the ball all the way back to their own 32-yard line. They then, of course, had to punt on 4th and long. And it was a high snap. When all was said and done, Ocoee took over possession of the ball on the 15-yard lines. 3 plays later, Charles Pierre Jr., Ocoee's all-everything stud of a running back, found the end zone on a 9-yard rush. PAT's good, 13-7. And then, with about 3 minutes remaining, Ocoee has possession of the ball, actually 2.5 minutes. Ocoee has possession of the ball. They're facing 3rd and 8. They're at midfield. Wekiva comes up with a beautiful sack. If you look at the footage, they did everything they were supposed to. They broke through the pocket, the offensive line. They confused the offensive line with their crossing schemes, the defensive line. Great coverage in the secondary. But there was a face mask penalty. Sack does not count, 15 yards, and most importantly, the possession continues. 2 minutes later, with 33 seconds remaining, a 12-yard pass from Jordan Jailer to Jacquez Cooks, and the PAT is good. And so your final score is 14-13, and that was the only pass that Ocoee completed. They only attempted 10. But that touchdown pass, which won the game, was the only one. So, again, we'll talk more about the penalties and the mistakes throughout the game, but that's a great example. Those are the physical, tangible, and noticeable penalties. Those 2 particular penalties, the series of 3 penalties followed by the high snap on the punt, and then the face mask on 3rd and long on the last possession, and you pretty much get an idea of Wekiva's story going into this game.
Yeah, meanwhile, though, Neil, I know that the last time we had an opportunity to cover a game in the preseason classic, there was still a lot up in the air about Wekiva's quarterbacking situation. However,
that has turned completely.
That has turned completely around. We're really seeing some settling at that position.
Yeah, Tyree Davis has taken over the starting quarterback position. Coach Schwartz, when I talked to him about halfway through the second quarter of the game against Olympia, that was the season opener, the regular season opener, Coach Schwartz just made the decision to go with Davis. But he made that decision because Davis has really developed only as a sophomore that live to fight another play mentality. He does not make mistakes, which puts his teams in a hole. He's thrown only 1 interception in his 2 games, and of course that 1 interception was again on the last play against Sokoe when they were in desperation mode last week. 13 of 25, nothing great there. But again, 211 yards and 2 TDs.
And we are now underway. That is Javen Robinson taking it from the 18-yard line, and he's got some room in front of him. Manages to get around the corner of the entire Wekiva kicking team. And number 2, Javen Robinson, returns 82 yards for a Warriors touchdown on the opening kickoff. Well, Neil, if you listed the very worst things that could happen in a football game at the beginning of a football game, that would be number 1 on the list if you're Wekiva.
Yeah, I don't think you need to be a football guru to understand that or to even see that. But it's even more so important for Wekiva. Again, we're going to talk about it at least through the first 6-7 games. Young and inexperienced, and that's certainly giving up an 82-yard touchdown on the first play of the game is not something that builds confidence for a young and inexperienced team.
We've talked about it a lot this year, that Wekiva has a lot of raw talent and just does not have a lot of experience playing together for a lot of reasons. The extra point is up and good. Kick there put up by number 17, Jack Simonetta. That gives the Warriors a 7-0 lead with 11 minutes, 44 seconds remaining in the first quarter.
So now, before that kickoff, I was talking about Tyree Davis, and certainly if you ever need a quarterback who does have his composure, can keep his poise, Wekiva's going to need that now. Somebody who's not going to try to force the situation because you got that lightning quick hammer blow to the gut start. And again, in the pregame, Mark, we talked about it. Studs everywhere. Not only is this the most talented team that Wekiva's going to face, according to Schwartz, but they have incredible speed, and you just saw it there. So I was all set to talk about West Orange starting offense, but we'll have to put that off. And now West Orange kicks off. Georges. Simonetta kicking off. And some extra room to operate, but unfortunately the defense tightens up quickly.
Mustang returned by Tamarian Foster after the kick by Jack Simonetta.
So
ball is spotted in Mustang territory at the 20-yard line. Wekiva takes over for their first offensive possession. 1st and 10 from there.
So I'd say at least respectable field position for Wekiva as they go to work, as you mentioned, at the 25. Wekiva 0-2, looking for the first win of the season, looking to continue to progress. And hopefully they'll reduce the mistakes tonight. 14 penalties last week against Sokoe. Davis hands off to Brown, and he's slammed. Actually, that's Cooper.
Kevell Cooper on the carry for the Mustangs.
A 4-yard gain, though. So a solid start for Wekiva. And once again, with the speed and talent of West Orange, Wekiva's best weapon is probably the best defense is a good offense. Keep the ball out of the hands of the Wekiva offense.
Gain of 4 yards on the play. Brings up 2nd and 6 from the Mustang 24-yard line.
So Davis back to work. 2-back set. Confusion in the backfield. Weathers takes the handoff. And that confusion will cost Wekiva, losing a couple of yards.
Handoff from Davis to Terrell Weathers. A loss of 4 yards on the play takes the ball back to the original line of scrimmage at the 20 and brings up 3rd and 10.
So Wekiva's starting offensive line, George Reed, Holly St. Molest, Jacoby Lowry at center, Jazzy Valentine, the big man going about 380, and number 60, Edison Edmond, rounding out that front 5. Tyree Davis, of course, is your quarterback. And once again, look for Chris Reed. He's been big. Davis's number one target, 14 receptions, 211 yards, 6 TDs, and a 15 yards per catch average. 3rd and 10 for Wekiva. They certainly need to get a first down to keep the ball out of the West Orange off defense. And it looks like they're going to have their work cut out for them even more. There was movement at the line.
Flag on the play. No, wait a minute. Strike that. No penalty marker. It is a timeout.
Okay, so a bit of an oddity. Only 2 minutes, 13 seconds into the ball game, and a timeout's been used by Wekiva already.
All right, so I did a little checking there. Turned out Wekiva called timeout there. We'll take this opportunity to let those of you in the stadium know that tonight's game is being live streamed on YouTube as well as the NFHS network. If you have friends and family who are not able to join us in person for tonight's game and they would like to tune in, whether that's from Winter Garden, elsewhere in Apopka, or anywhere in the world, just send them to our YouTube channel, Wekiva Sports, on their favorite computer, smart TV, or mobile device, and they can tune in live. We'll also be simulcasting tonight's game on the NFHS network.
So Wekiva back to work. Davis under center. The quick pass to Weathers out of the backfield. And nothing doing, and the worst possible start continues for Wekiva, a 3 and out.
Terrell Weathers on the completion. No gain on the play. And that will bring up 4th and 10 for the Mustangs from their own 20-yard line.
So 4th and 10, Wekiva will be forced to punt. The line of scrimmage is at the 25. And what turned out a promising start, a 4-yard gain on the first down, will wind up being a change of possession. So once again, remember last week, a high snap on the critical punt. This time they do, but it's blocked.
Well, Neil, if I asked you for a list of the worst things that could happen at the beginning of the ball game, this would be number 2.
Yeah, as bad as that 3 and out was, the block punt is certainly much worse. And Schwartz, again, Coach Schwartz mentioned this is a talented team. They're not just talented, but they're deep with that talent. And we're seeing that, and West Orange is certainly putting that talent and that depth of talent to excellent use.
The punt is blocked and downed at the 20-yard line. West Orange starts from there with their second offensive possession. Carry by number 4, Terrell Walden the second.
Now Walden comes into this game. He is their workhorse as far as the rushing. 15 carries, 121 yards, 8.1 yards. They go no huddle. And Huff will go back. Huff's your quarterback along with Walden at the tailback position. Huff, a very solid quarterback. He doesn't do anything spectacular, but yet he gets the team up and down the field.
Jaden Gibson, the intended receiver. Pass broken up by Mike Hippolyte. Falls incomplete. It brings up 3rd and 5 for the Warriors.
Handoff and nothing doing. Great job up front for Wekiva. So they do get something of a settling down here, much needed. But still, West Orange is in field goal territory, although I think they're going to go for the first down. Nobody's coming on the field.
No gain on the play. That'll bring up 4th and 5 for the Warriors. Yeah, I see Walden again lining up in the backfield.
Yeah, behind Huff, your quarterback, your senior quarterback. And we're going to get a pass. Huff chase down the field.
For the end zone, caught. Is he inbounds? No. The pass is complete to Jaden Gibson, but he is out of bounds of the end zone. And so that will turn the ball over on downs to the Mustangs. So boy, Wekiva catches a huge break there. If Jaden Gibson had had both feet in bounds, that would have been real disaster to start the opening 4.5 minutes of the game with 2 scores by West Orange, but Wekiva lives to fight another day, still down just 1.
Yeah, excellent coverage there by the cornerback.
Ladies and gentlemen, we want to welcome our guest rider of the night, Audrey Miller, on the quarter horse that specializes in barrel racing. Audrey is an officer in the Wekiva Future Farmers of America chapter.
So Wekiva takes over, 1st and 10 at their own 25. Handoff to James Brown. And he bowls ahead, about 4 yards. So second consecutive possession, Wekiva gets off to a solid start with a rushing play.
James Brown on the carry. He has a gain of 1 on the play. That brings the ball to the 16-yard line and brings up 2nd and 9 for the Mustangs. So, Neil, the Mustangs not really benefiting from much of a generous spot there.
No. Approaching halfway through the first quarter, West Orange up 7-0. They took the opening kickoff. Back for a touchdown, 82 yards. Wekiva's second possession, starting inside their own 25-yard line in the first penalty of the game.
Flag on the play. Prior to the snap, false start called against the Mustang offense. That's 5-yard penalty from the previous spot and a replay of 2nd down. Now 2nd and 14 from the Mustangs' 11-yard line.
So again, the youth and inexperience rearing its ugly head, and we are going to get a timeout. The officials' timeout.
That takes us to approximately the midpoint of the first quarter, and so we'll pause for our first officials' timeout of the game. It'll be 2nd and 14 for the Mustangs when we return from the break. Baptiste Orthodontics and Dentistry for Kids is a proud partner in education with Wekiva High School. Their newest office, located in the heart of Apopka across from Kitland Nelson Park, offers both orthodontics and pediatric dentistry. They specialize in braces and clear aligners for people of all ages and dentistry for kids ages 1 to 18. Proud supporters of Mustang football and Baptiste Orthodontics Stadium.
And welcome back to Mustang Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium, home of the Wekiva Mustangs. 7-0, West Orange with the lead. Wekiva 2nd and 14. Brown, the quarterback, drops back, finds his receiver. That's Chris Reed. And is that a first down on the out pattern? Yes,
Pass
it is.
is complete
No, it's
to
not.
Chris Reed. Quentin Hatch had the tackle. Ball is spotted at the 29-yard line of Mustang territory for a gain of 18 on the completion. It's good for a Mustang. First down.
Exactly what the doctor prescribed for Wekiva.
Yeah,
Mark.
and Chris Reed, props to him, having to kind of dive and make that catch and managing to stay on his feet without losing his balance. That pass was frankly not quite on target. It was thrown a little bit ahead of him, and he had to chase after it.
And that's Brown taking the handoff, and that play stuffed right at the line.
James Brown on the carry, stop made by Eddie Kelly of the Warrior defense for a loss of 2 on the play. That will bring up 2nd and 12 for the Mustangs from their own 27-yard line.
So again, talking about Chris Reed, he had 14 receptions for 211 yards coming into this game, a 15-yard average. And as you mentioned, Mark, there was one of the many skills that has made him the go-to guy for Tyree Davis. In the meantime, Wekiva second and 12 at their own 25, and this play is not going to go.
I saw Warrior step into the neutral zone. I think the official saw it too, indeed. Flag on the play prior to the snap, offsides called against the Warrior defense. That is a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. And a replay of 2nd down. So a 5-yard donation there to the Mustang cause. Brings up 2nd and 7. Davis takes the snap. And it's tipped away. Is it caught? Well, and by whom? It is. Pass is completed to to Justin Hutchinson in spite of being deflected by Anthony Joseph. Ball is spotted at the 35-yard line for a gain of 3 on the completion, and that will bring up 3rd and 4 for the Mustangs. So, Neil, the Mustangs kind of get away with one there. That was a dangerous pass. It was a dagger, but it was a dagger into traffic. And even though the Mustangs didn't get the first down, they were frankly lucky to keep possession there, as that was a real toss-up. Good heads-up play there. Nice reflexes by Justin Hutchinson, pulling that one down in spite of all the traffic going on, and the ball coming in from an odd angle.
Yeah, now Brown back to the rush.
Handoff from Tyree Davis to James Brown, who runs for a gain of no yards. That leaves the ball at the 35-yard line and brings up 4th and 4.
So some signs of offensive life for Wekiva. Unfortunately, though, they started at their own 15.
Flag on the play, though. Face mask called against the Warriors. That is an incidental face mask penalty, so it's just 5 yards, but it's enough for a Mustang first down. So Wekiva again catches a break.
Yeah, and that moves the ball out to the 41-yard line, the second first down of the game for Wekiva. 3:27 remaining. Wekiva trailing the West Orange Warriors 7-0 in this first quarter. Brown the quarterback, Davis the quarterback. Out of the shotgun. Wekiva exclusively shotgun. He'll run a quarterback option, and he looks good on this as he goes up the left hash mark and gains 9.
Tyree Davis on the QB keeper. Stopped by Jordan Castell of the Warrior defense after picking up about 9 yards on the play. That takes the ball to the 50-yard line, and it brings up 2nd and 1.
So exactly what Wekiva needed.
Well, sometimes, Neil, as they say, if you want something done right, you got to do it yourself.
Yeah, well, they got the face mask on that 3rd down, which gave him a first down, and now a 9-yard rush for Davis. He goes back to work. One back set, Brown to his right, and another penalty.
Flag on the play prior to the snap. False start called against the Mustang offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, and a replay of 2nd down. So that stings a little, but you'd rather have, if you're going to trade 5 yards for 5 yards, West Orange has cost them a first down. So Wekiva still the net beneficiaries of the officiating so far.
2nd and 7, and other rushing plays. Wekiva continues to try to wear out West Orange.
Terrell Weathers on the carry for the Mustangs. That brings the ball up to the 44-yard line for a loss of 1 on the play. 3rd and 7 coming up for Wekiva.
In another subtle situation you don't want to wind up in, we talked, of course, about the quick start for West Orange, but this is the 3rd straight possession that Wekiva's had 3rd downs of 3rd or 5 or more. So 3rd and long on every 3rd down conversion attempt. Davis takes the snap, drops back. He's going medium, and there was a lot of holding.
Pass intended for Christopher Reed, falling incomplete. That'll bring up 4th and 7 for the Mustangs. Yeah, truthfully, no matter what contact was there, Christopher Reed never really had a realistic shot at that one. It was well out of bounds, even if no one had been covering him at all. And so now Wekiva really has no choice but to punt here, because they can't afford to give West Orange this kind of field position.
Yeah, and they're facing 7 yards, so, well. So West Orange certainly has brought its A game, and this is Smith. Fumble! And again, for all of the talent that West Orange has in the depth, they have made numerous mistakes through this first quarter, and Wekiva is in business again with their best field position at the Olympia 20. And you don't need to be a football guru to understand exactly what Wekiva needed. They looked like they were done. They were over. West Orange was going to take possession. Instead, Wekiva has a second life. And inside West Orange territory at their own 20, at West Orange's 25-yard line.
McDoom on the reception. Then a fumble caused by Cooper and recovered by Justin Hutchinson will give the Mustangs possession at the 25-yard line of Warrior territory.
So we'll see if Davis can lead his team down to what would be a scoring touchdown. And actually that's Elijah Rooney who's in. His first pass incomplete. A lot of pressure, the offensive line collapsing. So
Elijah Rooney's pass falls incomplete to bring up 2nd and 10 for the Mustangs from the Warrior 25-yard line.
So Rooney's going to remain out. Not sure why Davis is out. He's talking to Coach Schwartz down there on the sideline. So Rooney did not see action since the second quarter of the first game against Olympia. And he'll be running out of that one-back set, actually two backs. Brown takes the handoff, runs into his offensive lineman and does an excellent job of making something out of nothing. About 5 yards, they'll bring up 3rd and 5.
James Brown on the carry. Stop made by several Warriors, among them Anthony Joseph. A gain of 1 on the play, and it'll bring up 3rd and 9 for Wekiva from the Warrior 24-yard line. So, Neil, special teams has been both a curse and a blessing for Wekiva so far today. Offensively, though, with just the regular ground and pound, Wekiva has kind of hit a wall here against West Orange's defensive line.
Yeah, last play of the first quarter, and they're going long with Rooney.
And there's the flag. Pass intended for number 2, Christopher Reed, and there is a flag on the play.
Now that flag came out right away.
There was definitely some contact there. Pass interference called against the Warrior defense. That is a 15-yard penalty, which in this case will be half the distance to the goal. And a Mustang first down.
So Wekiva continues to be in the right spot at the right time. I don't want to necessarily say that it's just totally luck, because you commit pass interference when you get beat, usually. It's not like you just don't commit pass interference because you're not in trouble. But certainly West Orange has shown a lack of discipline in this first quarter. Their 4th penalty.
Ball is spotted now at the 12-yard line after the penalty. Brings up 1st and 10 for the Mustangs inside the Warrior red zone. And it gives us time for one more play in the first quarter.
5 seconds remaining. West Orange has also fumbled a punt, which is how Wekiva wound up with possession inside the West Orange 25-yard line. Again, last play of the first quarter, Elijah Rooney taking over for Davis at quarterback. He's working out of a 2-back set, something of an oddity for Wekiva. Brown and Weathers, your running backs, a handoff.
No, there's no handoff there. The handoff was faked, but West Orange was ready for that. Elijah Rooney with the QB keep. Eddie Kelly makes the stop. And that is going to take us to the end of the first quarter.
So we talked about studs everywhere. That was Coach Schwartz's description of West Orange, but they're not just on offense, they're on defense, and we certainly saw it on that play. Pocket collapsed immediately, and quite frankly, I think that was It was supposed to be a handoff, and the pocket collapsed so quickly that Rooney couldn't turn around and hand it off. So 7-0 is the score at the end of the first quarter in this third game of the 2021 season. West Orange with that lead. Wekiva got first possession. They were forced into a 3-and-out. West Orange blocked the punt. And West Orange took advantage of taking over the ball at the Wekiva 25.
Baptiste Orthodontics and Dentistry for Kids is proud to introduce Dr. Alma Correa. Dr. Alma is a board-certified pediatric dentist specializing in treating children ages 1 to 18 years old. She offers routine dental checkups, cleanings, extractions, and sedation and emergency dental care for kids. Visit BaptisteDentistryForKids.com to schedule your appointment today.
So 7-0 is the score. That 7-0 lead was taken on the opening kickoff, 82 yards. And we go back to action at the beginning of the second quarter.
Pass intended for Christopher Reed. Falls incomplete in the end zone. That'll bring up 3rd and 13 for the Mustangs. So a good idea there as we opened up the second quarter, and now Wekiva looking at 3rd and long. Again, based on the position of the sticks, Wekiva does not have to score a touchdown to get a fresh set of downs. But if you're going to go for the 3-yard line, you might as well go for 3 more.
Yeah, so Wekiva, obviously its best opportunity to score, deepest penetration into West Orange territory. Want to take advantage of it. Want to build some momentum and confidence. Rooney's going to try to run, and he will get some positive yardage, but not enough for the first down.
Elijah Rooney on the carry. Stopped for the Warriors by Max Delansky.
So I think that's Coach Schwartz thinking we got 3rd and 4th down to get the first down, not necessarily one play.
A gain of 2 on the play. That takes the ball up to the 13-yard line and brings up 4th and 11. And here it looks like Wekiva is lined up for a field goal attempt. This is Alejandro Carmona.
Yeah, he has yet to attempt a field goal. Kick down, ball down, snap down, kick up, and kick is good.
Alejandro Carmona from the 20-yard line picks up the field goal for the Mustangs.
And that will cut the lead to 7-3 with 11:02 remaining before halftime. So once again, a miscue by West Orange sets up that 3-pointers. McDoom fumbling the punt. The Wekiva punt. Wekiva takes over at the West Orange 25. The gain of first down. The drive then stalls. And Carmona comes in and nails his first field goal of the 2021 season. And that cuts the lead to 7-3. Of course, Carmona, a senior, he's also a soccer player. So 11:02 remaining. A very quick-paced first quarter, Mark, or at least it seemed that way. Neil Fisher, Mark Barchi on the call. And now Carmona, I don't think that was intentional. Didn't look like it was an onside attempt. Certainly not the kickoff that you want. And so West Orange will go to work with the 7-3 lead. Tyler Huff is your starting quarterback. He is 11 of 22 for 170 yards, 15.5 yards per completion average, 2 interceptions and 2 TDs. And he throws out, caught. by number 1, Jaden Gibson.
Pass complete to Jaden Gibson. Taken down by Jabari Smith and Ramel Smith of the Mustang defense. Gain of 2 on the play. That brings up 2nd and 8 from the Warriors' own 42-yard line.
And the same combination, and again, another short gain. So Wekiva with an opportunity to force West Orange into a 3-and-out.
Once again, the pass complete to Gibson, and once again, Ramel Smith has the tackle. This one puts the ball at the 47-yard line for a gain of 5 on the completion. 3rd and 3 coming up for the Warriors.
So Huff back to work, hands off. And that's Walden, man, he got a hole. He plows ahead, trucks ahead. And again, that was one of those holes. It wasn't particularly large, but about 6 inches on each side. And Walden just went straight ahead.
Terrell Walden on the carry for the Warriors. Gets the ball into Mustang territory at the 38-yard line for a gain of 15 on the carry. He's stopped by Mike Hippolyte of the Mustang defense. First down, West Orange.
Hand off again. Walden again, carrying the ball.
Terrell Walden on the carry. This time Donovan Knight makes the stop for the Mustangs. Ball is spotted at the 37-yard line for a gain of 1 on the carry. Brings up 2nd and 9 for the Warriors.
No huddle offense for West Orange. Huff back under center at the Wekiva 37, 1 back set. Drop back by Huff. He's going deep along that right sideline. The one-handed catch.
Pass complete to Jaden Gibson, who pulls down the one-hander and into the end zone for the Warrior touchdown. Well, Neil, that was nice coverage by Tamarian Foster, but you just have to give it to Jaden Gibson there. That was a beautiful catch, worthy of the highlight reels on any SportsCenter episode.
Yeah, I think a picture speaks 1,000 words. And so the PAT that's Simonetta, and the lead is now 14-3.
Jack Simonetta on the try, and the kick is good. That makes it a 14-3 lead for the Warriors with 9 minutes remaining in the first half.
Who scored the kickoff return, the opening kickoff? Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium is the site for this third game of the 2021 season. West Orange with a 14-3 lead. They just upped that lead to 14-3 on a 37-yard touchdown pass from Huff to Gibson, and now Wekiva will try to answer. Nifty running, some give and go, some juking and jiving, and about 20 yards on the return. And Wekiva will take over at their own 35-yard line.
Flag on the play.
Well, they would have taken over at their own 35-yard line.
Tamarian Foster had the return. Block in the back is called against Mustangs. That's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Block in the back is a call that you almost exclusively see on kick return plays.
And now we'll leave Wekiva with the ball at its 20-10.
No, they make that the 9-yard line.
9-yard
Ouch.
line. Yeah, remember, that's one of those calls. It's not just it's not just the tangible amount of the penalty, it's where the penalty occurred that the tangible amount is taken off of. So Wekiva back to work, and now Tyree Davis is back under center. 8:51 remaining, 14-3 is the deficit. Wekiva 1st and 10 at its own 9-yard line. They certainly need to get some offense, some consecutive first downs. Hand off to Brown, plunging ahead, and no give for the running back.
Brown on the carry. Stop made by Max Delansky.
Two-yard gain. Is that a 2-yard gain? 1 yard
Gain of 1 on the play. Takes the ball up to the 10-yard line. And that brings up 2nd and 9 for the Mustangs.
So that's pretty much been the story of the game when Wekiva's rushing those. I don't believe they've gotten a bigger gain than 2 yards up to this point. Davis brings the team back up to center as we approach 8 minutes. Weathers on his right, Brown on the left. Davis drops back and nowhere to go. And he's close to the goal line. It's not as.
I think there's they're signaling toward the Warriors.
Yeah, it is a safety. The Warriors are coming off, so.
No. What I'm saying is they're signaling. They're signaling that the Warriors have the ball.
Oh, okay.
I think there may have been a fumble there.
So disaster for Wekiva.
Yeah, and in many ways that's worse than a safety. Warriors recover possession at the 2-yard line, where they will have 1st and goal.
So not only a fumble, but an 8-yard loss. West Orange takes over at the 2-yard line. Straight handoff to Walden. Nothing fancy. Plows ahead. Bulldogs into the end zone behind his right line. 14-3, 7:48 remaining in the first half.
Terrell Walden on the carry. And he is into the end zone for a 2-yard touchdown. That extends the Warrior lead to 20-3 with 7 minutes, 47 seconds remaining in the first half. See, Neil, actually the safety would have frankly been better in that situation. And that's what they teach you in football school if you're the quarterback. If disaster happens that close to the goal line, let it go into the end zone. You'd rather lose 2 than lose 7.
Yeah, and of course, the field position is completely different. Simonetta makes it 14-3.
Jack Simonetta's try is good. Lead up to 21-3 now with 7 minutes, 47 seconds remaining in the first half.
So both. So a one-play drive. West Orange takes over at the 2, immediately takes advantage of the Wekiva fumble. Ups the lead to 21-3. And Wekiva will try to answer. Foster with the kickoff return from inside the 5. He comes out to the left. That's actually Cooper. And he gets it all the way back to the high 30s. I believe the 38. And so Wekiva will take over possession. At its own 30-yard line.
Tamarian Foster picks up a return to the 30-yard line. That's about a 26-yard return on the play. Wekiva takes over with 1st and 10 from there.
So Rooney back under center, and it looks like Coach Schwartz has decided to go with the quarterback alternating series.
We saw that in the preseason classic. Rooney makes the handoff there to Brown. Brown on the carry. The stop made by Max Delansky. Elijah Rooney in at the quarterback position. Ball is spotted at the 31-yard line for a gain of 1 on the carry. It brings up 2nd and 9 for the Mustangs.
That's 7:12 remaining. In the first half, Wekiva trailing 21-3. Talked about at the beginning of the game, West Orange, a stud everywhere you turn your head, and they certainly have lived up to that. They've made a number of mistakes in that first quarter, yet they still have a 21-3 lead. So Rooney brings the Mustangs up under center, drops back.
Oh, that was almost picked off.
Some more
Pass
luck.
intended for Justin Hutchinson is nearly picked off by Matthew McDoom.
So again, another miscue by West Orange.
And they could have had another possession with excellent field position, and there's still enough time left in this half that they could do some more damage.
This has been a clinic of what not to do.
Yeah, I mean, Wekiva, between the kickoff return for touchdown, the fumble at the 2-yard line, and the blocked punt, I mean, everything that can go wrong has gone wrong just about for Wekiva in the first half. West Orange really only has the one serious error with their own issues on special teams. Mustang play by Carlos Fonseca. Stop made by Eddie Kelly.
And just that quickly, a 3-and-out for Wekiva.
Ball spotted at the 26-yard line for a loss of 5 on the play.
And as you mentioned, Mark, still plenty of time for West Orange to do more damage.
Yeah, Wekiva really desperately needs this punt to go well.
So 5:51 remaining. Ronald Smith lining up. Not only the running back, but the kicker. Hunter. And he gets this one off. And it'll take a Mustangs bounce, but we also have flags. So let's wait.
The ball is downed just outside the 40-yard line of Warrior territory. There is a flag on the play. Provisionally, the ball is spotted at the 37-yard line.
So, and just to give you an idea of how quick West Orange has scored, I actually used drive sheets.
Holding called against the Warrior receiving team. That's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul.
So that'll put the ball back at the West Orange 27, their worst starting position of the first half.
Well, it looks like they're going to put it at the well, no, you're exactly right, the 27. So that was all the way at the end of the play that it happened. That's bad news for West Orange, but Mustangs will take anything they can get.
Yeah, so I use drive sheets, write down each play. Wekiva's already finished 2. West Orange, I've only had to fill up about 2/3 of the sheet for West Orange. West Orange has only run 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This will be their 11th play from scrimmage. West Orange, that is. And in the meantime, though, we are going to get a timeout. So, talked about West Orange, their talent. Coach Schwartz, again, everywhere you look, every time you turn the head, there is a stud, not only on offense but on defense. Defense certainly does not get the attention, the headlines that the offense does. But nonetheless, they're just as quick, just as skilled, just as talented, and just as deep. They just don't make as many eye-popping, but that all accumulates into a rank of 33rd among the state of Florida by MaxPreps.com. West Orange also had a run between 2013 and 2018. 5 state playoff appearances, at least 7 wins. And Huff back to work, finds Assad Wasim, the former Mustang, and he gets a short yard, and there's penalties as well.
Pass completes to Assad Wasim, tackled by Noah Putnam. Flag on the play.
So Wasim came into this game 2 receptions, 45 yards. Certainly something we got accustomed to the last couple of years at Wekiva.
Roughing the passer is called against the Mustangs. That's a 15-yard penalty. Puts the ball up to the 45-yard line for a Warrior first down.
And that's exactly the mistakes that Coach Schwartz has talked about over and over and over. A short 2-yard gain becomes a 17-yard gain in the first down for West Orange.
Prior to the snap, false start called against the Warriors. That's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. And a replay of first down.
So ball's back at the West Orange 40. Huff, complete, and that's going to be about 3 yards, so bring up 3rd and over 10.
Pass is complete to number 14, Rocky Rudolph, who is immediately wrapped up by number 21, Jabari Smith. The ball is spotted at the 39-yard line for a loss of 1 yard on the completion. A gain of 4. 2nd and 11 coming up.
So the score is 24-3. 4:13 remaining. I guess so. Huff calls out the signals, drops back, rolls right under pressure. Going long and deep. Oh, incomplete. Good coverage.
Pass intended for Assad Wasim. Ball's incomplete deep into Mustang territory. Mustang coverage by Smith.
3 consecutive passes, 3 consecutive incomplete passes. And certainly what Wekiva needed, down 24-3 with just over 4 minutes remaining in the first half. First punt of the night for West Orange. Jack Simonetta, also the kicker. And he gets the punt off, no problem.
Actually, that is Brendan Flakes.
Okay, Hakeem Lowe gets out of the way and decides to let the ball bounce wherever it may, and that's at the 20-yard line.
Ball is down at the 19-yard line of Mustang territory. Wekiva will start from there with 1st and 10, 3 minutes, 51 seconds remaining in the first half. As a proud sponsor of Wekiva High School Athletics, Baptiste Orthodontics and Dentistry for Kids invites you to visit their website for a detailed list of all the services they provide. Whether you're looking for a new healthy smile or in need of a dentist for your kids, Baptiste Orthodontics and Dentistry for Kids is here to serve the Apopka community.
Davis back in at quarterback, drops back on first down, and another incomplete pass.
Pass intended for Key Cooper falls incomplete. That'll bring up 2nd and 10 for the Mustangs from their own 19-yard line. And frankly, it's just as well that Key dropped that, because if he'd caught it, I think Wekiva would have lost yardage, because that was behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, again, excellent coverage by that secondary. So the story of this game has been exactly what Coach Schwartz talked about. Talent everywhere you turn your head for Wekiva, and they've taken advantage, turning it into points. 3 lightning quick hammer blow touchdowns following mistakes by Wekiva, tangible, noticeable mistakes. 2nd and 10, Davis lined up, 1 back set. He'll run it himself behind the right side, and he'll lose yards.
Davis on the QB keep.
As we drop under 3.5 minutes remaining in the first half.
Gain of 1 on the play. That'll bring up 3rd and 9 for the Mustangs from their own 20-yard line.
So Mark mentioned this several times. Wekiva's problem is not only the fact that they are facing 3rd down on almost every series, but every 3rd down has been 3rd and long. The shortest so far has been 3rd and 8. And you don't have to be a mathematician to know that the odds are stacked against you getting a first down. A high percentage of conversion when you're facing 3rd and 8 or longer on every 3rd down. Davis snaps, goes back, and rifles out of bounds.
Yeah, that pass would have been great for the substitutes standing on the sideline.
So unfortunately, Wekiva once again will have to punt. And with 2:46, still plenty of time for West Orange to do more damage.
Pass incomplete for the Mustangs. It brings up 4th and 9 from Wekiva's own 20-yard line.
West Orange took over possession on their last possession with 5:24 remaining. Wekiva was able to force them into a punt. They did commit a roughing the penalty, but then a 3 and out. But now they're going to be facing that same exact situation, unable to take any significant time off the clock. And the punt, it's a short punt, taken down immediately. Some great special teams coverage. Rommel Smith with not a particularly long punt, but he got it off, and it was solid enough to give his team a chance to make a good play.
Rommel Smith with the punt. Matthew McDoom catches it at the 40-yard line and is immediately tackled by Key Cooper. A return of about 1 yard. And the Warriors take over with 1st and 10 from the Mustang 39-yard line.
2:38 remaining. Handoff. Walden. And this time, Wekiva's defensive line finds the running back.
Terrell Walden on the carry. Mustang stop is made by George Reed. Loss of 2 on the play that puts the ball at the 41-yard line for 2nd and 12.
And now back to the pass. Huff finds Wasim. Wasim, a little inside-outside maneuver, picks up about 2 extra yards.
Pass is complete to number 1, Jaden Gibson. He's tackled by Hakeem Lowe of the Mustang secondary. That puts the ball at the 32-yard line for a gain of 9 on the completion. 3rd and 3. Flag on the play. Prior to the snap, offsides called against the Mustang defense. That's a 5-yard penalty from the previous spot, and it is enough for a Warrior first down.
So once again, penalties, penalties, penalties. And as you mentioned, that puts the ball inside the 30-yard line at the Wekiva 27. Huff rolls right, goes for the end zone, and Gibson over the shoulder in motion.
Pass is complete to number 1, Jaden Gibson in the end zone for a Warrior touchdown. That gives West Orange a 27-3 lead with 1 minute 29 seconds remaining in the first half.
Yeah, textbook execution, quarterback to receiver. The bite at the line of scrimmage, about a 2-yard separation. And now the score is 30-3 as Simonetta comes into attempt. 27-3 with 1:29 remaining. Simonetta tacks on the PAT.
Extra point by Jack Simonetta is good, and that extends the Warrior lead to 28-3 with 1 minute 29 seconds remaining in the first half.
And by the way, that was West Orange's second longest possession in terms of plays, 4 plays. Foster takes the kickoff. Cooper comes up the right side looking to gain some yardage. And Wekiva will start at its own 32-yard line, 1:20 remaining. So 1:20 remaining, Wekiva facing a 28-3 deficit. And certainly the story of this game has resembled the score. It's been a blitzkrieg type of attack for the West Orange Warriors. To be honest, West Orange has not created really any opportunities for themselves. They've turned Wekiva mistakes into those 28 points. And Wekiva will go back to work at their own 30-yard line. Handoff.
Brown on the carry. Tackle made for the Warriors by Kelly. The ball is spotted at the 40-yard line of Mustang territory for a gain of 8 on the play. Brings up 2nd and 2.
So the longest gain of the night for Wekiva.
Rooney again at quarterback.
.37 seconds remaining.
I believe that James Brown had the carry for the Mustangs for no gain. Ball remains at the 40-yard line, and that brings up 3rd and 2.
So Wekiva needs to get a first down with 15 seconds remaining. This West Orange offense is good enough they can score in 15 seconds. Rooney hands the ball off. They will get the first down. Brown at midfield and gets out of bounds. And a break for Wekiva. There's still 4 seconds remaining. Actually, that was Weathers with the carry.
Handoff is made to Terrell Weathers, and Weathers gets into Warrior territory all the way down inside the 45 to the 43-yard line. That's a gain of 17 on the carry, and it's enough for a Mustang first down with 1 second on the clock.
And that's only the second first down Wekiva's gained non-penalty.
Well, it's doesn't matter down and doesn't matter yards to go, because this is going to be end zone or bust on this play.
Rooney out of the shotgun.
Low snap. Flag on the play. False start called against the Mustang offense. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. And a replay of first down. Well, Neil, honestly, that's not the worst that could have happened there, because I think Wekiva would rather, at this point, what's really the difference between having 48 yards to go and having 43 yards to go? That was a terrible snap, and that play was going to end in disaster no matter what. So better to reset and take another shot from 5 yards farther away.
Yeah, that ball was snapped about an inch off the ground. So 1 second remain. Actually, it's an untimed down.
Yeah, there is still 1 second on the clock. It just accidentally ran off, so they're not going to bother to fix that.
And
we're going to run it up the middle. That's how you get 48 yards in one play. James Brown on the carry for the Mustangs picks up a gain of about 5 yards. That obviously will not be enough for the Mustang touchdown, but it takes us to the end of the first half. 28-3, the Warriors have the lead going into intermission here in week 3 of Wekiva's 15th anniversary season here at Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium. Don't go anywhere. Halftime band performance is coming up next. What is the name of your show?
Titled Beautiful.
Beautiful. All right. Put that in the graphics.
Named after me. So you'll turn it on and everything. I just have to speak into it.
Yep.
Easy button. Ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention to the field where we proudly present the 2021 West Orange High School Warrior Band. The 200-member West Orange High School Band is under the direction of Kenneth Boyd, Robert Cron, and Garth Steger. Drum majors for the Warrior Band are Dane Anderson, Brendan Murphy, and Allison Rookie. The Warrior Marching Band's 2021 halftime show is beautiful, featuring the music of Copeland, One Direction, and Walk the Moon. And now, please welcome the one and only West Orange High School Warrior Band.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, please give it up for the West Orange Warriors Marching Band.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the second part of our halftime entertainment tonight. Please welcome to the field your Wekiva High School Marching Mustangs. The band is under the direction of Mr. Joshua Grossniklas. Assistant director is Mr. Frank Taylor. Color guard director, Mr. Michael McKee, and percussion instructor, Mr. Justin Eubanks. The band is under the field command of drum major Miranda Hennessy. The band captain is Zion Dennis. Leadership and section leaders include Christy Ha, Tara Pierre, Jasmine Martinez, Jarmitria Martin, Blaze Davies, Judson Alcime, Chris Klingensmith, and Kyle Weekly. The band will perform El Zorro by Mike Story, the opener for our 2021 field show entitled En Fuego, followed by the beautiful Bella Via, made popular by pop flugelhornist Chuck Mangione. Drum major Miranda Hennessy, is the band ready? You may now begin your exhibition performance.
Once again, ladies and gentlemen, the pride of Wekiva, your Mustang Marching Band. And as we get ready for the second half, we want to welcome to our PA announcements and to our broadcast on YouTube and the NFHS network, Dr. Audrey Baptiste of Baptiste Orthodontics and Pediatric Dentistry, who is just getting ready now to celebrate the anniversary of the pediatric dentistry practice here in your beautiful location in Apopka.
Well, thank you very much for having me. We're happy to be in Apopka. Apopka's been great to us so far, and we really enjoy becoming part of the community.
And we are grateful to have you. I know that you have been a partner in education for quite a long time here in Orange County Public Schools, and a particular friend to Wekiva High School and Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium here in Apopka. Now that you have your third location, I had an opportunity to be there when you had the grand opening of that, which seems like just yesterday, but now it is a pretty established practice right in the heart of Apopka, across from Kitland Nelson Park. And how are things going for you now as that you're expanding your business?
Well, it's been great. The community's really embraced us, and we've embraced the community. We have a great pediatric dentist there, Dr. Alma Karaya. She's amazing. Once people meet her one time, they just love her. I'm kind of just in the background now. She's the star of the show.
And I know that not just Wekiva, but across Orange County Public Schools, that public education has been a real passion point for you in your community activism since you've been in the Central Florida area. What is it that draws you to Wekiva and to Orange County schools in general? I know you've been a presenter at teach-in events several times over the course of the last several years, and we see you around campus all the time.
Well, there's several reasons. The first is that there's definitely a need. A lot of people don't know, and I didn't know when I first went into business, the need that schools have for partners. I always assumed that everything was paid for, everything was covered, they had funds for everything, but they really don't, and they really need people in the community to step up and help out. So that's the first thing. The second is I went to public schools my whole life. I'm a big supporter of public schools. I was not the greatest student, so I feel like I can relate to a lot of the kids that are struggling right now, in knowing that you don't have to be perfect all the time. You just got to keep trying. Perseverance is the most important trait. If you can continue to work hard and try, you can make it no matter where you're coming from. Because for a lot of these kids, I started off in a worse position than they were.
Yeah, and so, of course, now you can look for our Student Athletes of the Week on Wekiva TV, presented by Dr. Baptiste. And also, I know that you've been really excited with Dr. Alma to be operating that pediatric dentistry practice in Apopka. That is a new thing, and as an HR professional myself, I know how challenging coordination of care can be. It's kind of a buzzy topic right now, broadly speaking, in the medical profession, and people don't think about it a lot when it comes to oral care. You think about it when it comes to general practice with the Orlando Health Networks and the Advent Health Networks, but when it comes to oral care, coordination of care can be really important as well, exchanging records and having the same staff and the same records being shared between your dental care providers and your orthodontic care providers, and now that those services can all be consolidated under one roof, it's really making that easier than ever for a lot of our Apopka families.
Yes, that's a great point. The two things go together like perfectly. So a lot of our pediatric patients, ultimately they will need some orthodontic care, and a lot of our orthodontic patients, they need a pediatric dentist. So it works hand in hand, and we've just been blessed to find the best pediatric dentist in Orlando.
Yeah, I can speak from personal experience. Obviously, orthodontic technology has come a long way since my childhood, but I wore braces for 4 years as a child, and I spent a lot of time in an orthodontist chair. My orthodontist has long since retired, but I know that the more comfort and the more of a welcoming atmosphere that you can provide, and the more you can calm those nerves. Nobody likes having work done on their teeth. But as much as Little Shop of Horrors likes to give the practice a bad name, there really are things that you and your staff are able to do to make what a lot of people really don't look forward to be more of a pleasant and welcoming experience.
Yeah, well, we have a lot of features that are great for kids. We have a gator tank with live gators and a lot of other attractions.
Lose the font. And we are going to get back to live action here. Dr. Baptiste, you're welcome to stick around, and we're going to be calling the third quarter here as we get underway. Wekiva trailing 3-28 here in the third quarter. I'm going to welcome Neil Fisher back to the broadcast as well.
Wekiva takes over possession. West Orange got the ball to begin the first half, and pretty much set the tone for that entire first half. An 82-yard return by Jaden Robinson, and Wekiva was down in the blink of an eye, 7-0. They will take possession at their own.
Looks like the Wekiva at the 32-yard line to start off the second half with the opening possession.
And this is Davis working out of the one-back set, goes long, and that'll be incomplete. Cooper, the intended receiver, and unfortunately, that's a specific play we saw way too much in the first half.
I want to thank Dr. Baptiste for joining us at halftime. We're going to let him enjoy the rest of the game. I know he's a football fan and cheering for the Mustangs to make a comeback here. Thank you, Dr. Baptiste, for joining us for a little bit of our halftime show.
So a quick look at the stats certainly reflect the score. Once again, 7-0 after the opening kickoff. Robinson taking that kickoff 82 yards. 3 of 9, the quarterback duo of Davis and Rooney as the handoff goes to Brown, and nothing doing. I don't think he made it back to the line of scrimmage. Team -8 yards rushing. And
James Brown on the carry, where a loss of 1 yard on the play. It brings up 3rd and 11 for the Mustangs from their own 31-yard line.
One of -8 yards rushing. So certainly the stats reflect that. A number of penalties, which gave West Orange first downs. A number of penalties which put Wekiva, or led to Wekiva being in 3rd and down situations. And so Davis once again back to work. Drops long, and another incomplete pass.
Pass intended for number 2, Christopher Reed, falls incomplete, and that will bring up 4th and 11 for the Mustangs. So while nothing particularly disastrous happening in the opening series of the second half, Davis and the Mustang offense just not really able to turn the tide of the momentum in this game. They're going to have to go 3 and out to open up the second half.
Yeah, I would characterize that first series, that first possession, as nothing that further created a deeper hole for Wekiva. But given what West Orange has done, and again, the 28-3 lead, you could say that's disastrous. Wekiva needed to get a couple of first downs, if for no other reason than to stem the tide of West Orange momentum, and now they're going to do something which is going to put them in the hole, and that's a penalty on the punt return, a fair catch, and yet an attempted tackle.
Flag on the play. Personal foul. Unnecessary roughness called against the Mustangs. That is a 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. West Orange will now advance their field position to the Mustang 42-yard line, and they'll take over from there.
And Coach Schwartz must be getting that feeling in his gut that his gut is tightening up.
Yeah, that was Charles Hall that got called for that there.
Hand off to Walden. And he will continue to add to his total and then continue. 3 broken tackles as he weaved his way along the right sideline. Walden another first down. And the ball is now all the way in down to the 20.
Terrell Walden on the carry.
25-yard line.
Ball spotted at the 25-yard line for a gain of 17 on the play. After the play, personal foul called against West Orange. That'll be a 15-yard penalty.
So Wekiva catches a break. Certainly they'll take those 15 yards, and that turns a 17-yard gain into a net gain of 2. Back under center. Huff in the drop back. Under pressure, escapes, rolls right, takes it himself. And a nice job of turning nothing into something.
Flag on the play. So provisionally, that would be a gain of about 5 yards, pending the outcome of the flag. Holding, called against the West Orange offense. That's a 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. And a replay of first down. So 3 consecutive plays, 3 consecutive penalties. 1 against Wekiva, and now 2 in a row against West Orange. That puts the ball at the 41-yard line of Mustang territory.
And it's still first down, Mark.
1st and 15 now coming up for West Orange.
So Huff back to work, 1 back set, no huddle offense, trips on the left. Another pass, Huff drops back, going long. And again, overthrown.
The pass intended for Assad Wasim falls incomplete.
Defensive pressure from the line.
That brings up 2nd and 15 for the Warriors from the Mustang 41-yard line.
One of the few times tonight that the defensive line's been able to get pressure on Huff. So again, Coach Schwartz, Wekiva's coach, did point out Huff in our weekly discussion, saying Huff is much better than he's given credit for, and you see why there. Goes back to work, hits Gibson, dead on. Gibson with the dipsy doodle move.
Assad Wasim makes the completion, and the tackle is made by Donovan Knight.
So Wasim, the former Mustang.
Ball is spotted at the 27-yard line. That's a gain of 14, or make that a gain of 11 on the completion. Brings up 3rd and 3.
So critical down for both teams. Out of the shotgun, Huff hands off to Walden. Follows his center and his right tackle.
Walden on the carry. Sincere Edwards has the tackle for the Mustangs. A gain of 1 on the play, and that will bring up 4th and 2 for the Warriors from the Mustang 28-yard line. So this is a tough position to be in. If you try to kick a field goal from here, that would be a 45-yard field goal, which is kind of a lot to ask of a high school player. It's certainly too far into Mustang territory to punt, so it looks like they're going to go for it. Direct snap to Walden, and I think he's got it.
Yeah, he bangs ahead. Wekiva thinks he didn't get it. West Orange thinks he did get that first down.
Now, from here, it looked like he had the 2 yards. We're going to see where they mark it. I'm getting a signal to stop the clock. Looks like they may measure it.
So, yeah, going back to your point, Mark, about being in a tough position, I'm sure Coach Granado did not really have that difficult decision when you consider it's 28-3. Now, it is difficult when you just look at the down and distance and the field position, but 28-3 certainly leaves you with not much of a risk.
No, certainly not. I mean, the worst that happens is you turn the ball over on downs and Wekiva gets mediocre field position.
Yep, which is exactly what just happened.
The play is just short of first down yardage. A gain of 1.5 on the play. They needed 2. And so that turns the ball over on downs to the Mustangs.
And so Wekiva finally comes up with a play they can hang their hats on. It's been a long night for Wekiva. Any way you look at it, offense, defense, special teams. This game started with an 82-yard touchdown run, kickoff return by Robinson. PAT made it 7-0, and that just set the tone. So Wekiva takes possession at its own 28-yard line. Handoff to Brown, who busts through the middle, breaks off a tackle, 10 yards, 15.
James Brown on the carry for the Mustangs, and he has a Wekiva first down. I heard some frustration there, both from the Mustang sideline and the fans. He slammed into the official, who I know didn't mean to, but gave a little bit of an assist to the West Orange defensive line as an extra blocker.
Yeah, 11-yard gain and back-to-back plays now. Wekiva seeming to feed off of that stop on the defensive end.
Ball spotted at the 42-yard line for a gain of 15 on the play. 1st and 10 Mustangs.
Handoff again to Brown, who plows ahead, lowers the shoulders and the body. Not as big a run, but certainly movement forward.
Brown on the carry to the 45-yard line for a gain of 3 on the play. That brings up 2nd and 7 for the Mustangs.
So Rooney is in at quarterback. This game started with Tyree Davis, the quarterback. He had won the starting position about midway through the second quarter of the opener against Olympia. We got about two possessions into this game, and Rooney came in, who will now go long. He was hit at the line of scrimmage.
Pass intended for Key Cooper falls incomplete, and that'll bring up 3rd and 7 for the Mustangs.
And to be honest, you could make a case that Wekiva was lucky that was not intercepted. That was purely luck in that case, that the ball landed in between 3 different secondary members more than 5 yards. That was not where it was intended to be thrown. Again, in Rooney's defense, though, he was hit as the ball was released. So as Mark mentioned, 3rd and 7. 7:03 remaining in this game. Wekiva trailing 28-3. A long night for the Mustangs, who come in off a 14-13 loss against Ocoee, a game they lost in the last 33 seconds. Out of the shotgun, Rooney hands off to Brown. He'll follow the left side of his line, slips off a tackle, gains about 4 more yards, but he'll still be short of that first down.
James Brown on the carry. Brendan Flakes makes the stop for the Warriors. The ball is spotted at the 49-yard line of Mustang territory for a gain of 4, and it brings up 4th and 3 for the Mustangs.
And Wekiva's going to try to get that first down. I guess if you're Coach Schwartz, you're thinking, what do we have to lose? Down 28-3. 6:25 remaining in the third quarter.
Wekiva has not attempted a 4th down yet.
So, and one thing I will say, and I mentioned this throughout the first half, not only was Wekiva facing over a lot of 3rd downs, but they were 3rd and long. Schwartz was 3rd and 8. This is Brown, and he's not going to even get back to the line of scrimmage. Ran it straight up the middle. West Orange knew the play was coming and surrounded Brown. before he even got to the line of scrimmage.
James Brown on the carry. Brennan Flakes on the defensive coverage for West Orange. A loss on the play, and that will turn the ball over on downs to the Warriors. We've now reached the midpoint of the third quarter, and so we'll pause for an official timeout. Ball spotted at the 47-yard line. Officially a loss of 2 on the play. West Orange will take over from there when we come back from the break. We'd like to remind you, if you're not already doing so, to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. We are at Wekiva Sports on all of those services. You'll get live updates from many of our athletic events, as well as news and information about our athletes and alumni. Again, it's at Wekiva Sports on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. If you're watching us on YouTube right now, we encourage you to click the red subscribe button so you'll be notified whenever we go live. We would be glad to count you among our loyal Mustang subscribers. West Orange takes their first snap of this offensive possession, and it's going to run straight up the middle. A gain of 1 on the carry. It brings up 2nd and 9 for West Orange from the Mustang 46-yard line.
So Walden takes that first snap. Back to work is Huff. He finds Wasim. Wasim with a stutter step along the left hash marks. And another West Orange first down.
Pass is complete to number 3, Assad Wasim. Ball is spotted at the 31-yard line of Mustang territory for a gain of 15 yards on the completion and a Warrior first down.
So 1st and 10 at the Wekiva 31. Walden with the call. He plows ahead.
Jesse Shannon on the carry. Gain of 1 on the play. Puts the ball at the 30-yard line for 2nd and 9. And I believe this is Trevor Jackson at quarterback.
Yeah, it's number 16. Pitches out to Walden, who weaves his way along the right hash mark.
Pitch is complete to Terrell Walden. A gain of 5 on the play. That puts the ball at the 25-yard line, and it brings up 3rd and 4.
28-3. West Orange has led literally from the first play of the game, scoring on an 82-yard kickoff return. And now the quarterback whirls out, finds a wide-open receiver, number 14, Rocky Rudolph, who could have waited for the bus and taken the bus on the entire route. 34-3, 25 yards.
Rocky Rudolph has the completion from Trevor Jackson for a 25-yard touchdown catch.
So the secondary confused on that play, obviously. And the score is now 34-3, and we are entering running clock territory. That's 35 points or more. The clock continues to run. And the attempt from Simonetta is true, no problems. 35-0, 3:35 remaining in the third quarter. West Orange has led from the opening kickoff.
The extra point by Jack Simonetta is good. Warriors up to a 35-3 lead, 3 minutes, 35 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
So a quick look at the touchdowns. Once again, Jaden Robinson began this offensive onslaught with an 82-yard touchdown return of the opening kickoff. That's Jaden Robinson. Then Tyler Huff found Jaden Gibson for 37 yards at 9 minutes in the second quarter. Tyrell Walden found the end zone on a 2-yard rush, 7:47 remaining in the second quarter. Huff found Gibson for a second touchdown, 27 yards, 1:29 before halftime. And now the 25-yard pass, Jackson to Rudolph. That's their 35 points for West Orange. Wekiva's lone 3 points was a field goal from Alejandro Carmona at 11:02 of the second quarter.
Kickoff is returned for the Mustangs by number 1, Tamarian Foster, starting at about the 5-yard line.
Foster gets the ball out to the 25-yard line.
A return of 20 yards for Foster, and the Mustangs will take over with 1st and 10 from their own 20.
3:26 remaining in the third quarter. The two schools, West Orange, Wekiva, 14 miles apart, and they're very familiar with each other. 13th meeting, Wekiva has played 14 seasons of football. They were in the same district until 2018, and I do have to admit, Mark, and I'm sure you would agree with me, I only remember this happening maybe 2 other times, a 30-plus point victory. This has been a very nip-and-tuck series as Davis drops back to pass.
Davis with the pass intended for Key Cooper. It falls incomplete, and there is a flag on the play.
And so I would say probably Wekiva's 3 biggest rivalries.
Roughing the passer is called against the Warriors' defense. That's a 15-yard penalty, and a Mustang first down.
So the ball will be at the Wekiva 40.
Make that the 35, and Wekiva now catching a break. West Orange has really struggled with penalties. They haven't struggled with much else, but so far, West Orange is 8 penalties for 77 yards. Wekiva not that far behind him, 7 penalties for 60 yards so far.
Well, remember last week they had 14 for 110.
Well, there's nowhere to go but up then.
Yeah, this is something of an improvement. Davis out of the 2-back set. Make that 1 back as Brown's in motion. Davis will take the quarterback option.
Well, not getting much for it.
Yeah,
Davis on the QB keeper, and Dominic Madrid has the stop for the Warriors.
Yeah, he's going to lose. He loses yards.
And Neil, I believe, even though it's not the typical way it happens, that'll go in the stats as a sack.
Yeah, it's still considered a sack. Quarterback was tackled behind the line of scrimmage. So
loss of 1 on the play. It brings up 2nd and 11 from Wekiva's own 34-yard line.
So again, West Orange come in 1-1 record, but ranked 33rd, maxpreps.com in the state of Florida. Class 8A. One of Wekiva's, I would say, 3 biggest rivalries, Apopka and Ocoee being the 2 other. 14 miles separate the 2 schools.
Yeah, if you remember back to the early years of Wekiva football history, West Orange and Apopka were the real thorns in the side of Wekiva when they were all in the same district, and Wekiva was often the 3rd best team in a 4-team district. That pass is intended for number 2, Christopher Reed. Coverage provided by Jordan Castell. It falls incomplete.
Yeah, there was a 3-year period where Wekiva won 7 games, and yet they failed to make the state playoffs. That was back in the days when the 1st and 2nd place teams in every district went to those playoffs.
Yeah, Wekiva was the poster child for why the FHSAA changed the system to what they have now, because you had an incredibly strong district with Apopka, Wekiva, West Orange, and Evans, and a relatively weak district next door. And so Wekiva often beat the teams from the neighboring district that did make the playoffs. But then Wekiva was shut out for being the third best team in the strongest district in the state.
Yeah, between 2013 and 18, West Orange made the playoffs 5 straight times, 7 wins, as Davis goes back to the pass. And again, off target. Not only did West Orange make the playoffs 5 out of those 7 years, 5 out of those 6 years, they had at least 7 wins, and they are a defending regional finalist.
Davis looking for Justin Hutchinson. The pass falls incomplete, and that'll bring up 4th and 11 for the Mustangs from their own 34.
So West Orange is also coming off a regional finalist appearance last year. And West Orange is looking to rebound from a 13-0 loss to Apopka, a loss in which all their talent was completely minimized. And now a bad snap. Smith will run with it. He has a shot for the first down and will come close, but not quite get to there, about a yard short.
And that's just inexperience, because he took a dive to avoid getting clotheslined, but he needed to take that dive about a yard later. Ramel Smith on the carry for the Mustangs. The ball is spotted at the 42-yard line, and that is 3 yards short of the first down marker, so the Mustangs turn it over on downs to the Warriors, who take over with 1st and 10 from Wekiva 42. 1 minute, 26 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
So West Orange back to work at the Wekiva 43. That's Walton. I believe that's Walton. And again, if you're West Orange, you're not going to do anything fancy. You're not going to be looking to really even up the score. At this point, you're up 35-3. No need to go deep. No need to pull out any of the plays that take a long time to repeat and chance injury.
Ball is spotted at the 39-yard line for a gain of 3. 2nd and 7 coming up for the Warriors.
Another pass, and again, short to Wasim. He's going to try to make something out of this bubble screen, and he does, gaining 5 yards along that left sideline. Again, Wasim, a former Mustang. We've seen a lot of that juke and jive movement along the sideline for the previous 2 years.
Pass is complete to Assad Wasim. The ball is spotted at the 37-yard line. For a gain of 2 on the play, but there is a flag on the play.
So I believe that was a holding penalty, Mark.
I think you're right, Neil. Takes the ball back to the 46.
Again to Wasim. And he's at about the same location he was after he caught the last pass.
And after the holding penalty for 10 yards, Assad Wasim is again the receiver for the West Orange Warriors. Pass is caught at the 35-yard line. That's a gain of 11, the 40-yard line for a gain of 6 on the play. Brings up 3rd and 5.
And that will do it for the third quarter. West Orange upping the lead, 35-3, a touchdown from Jackson to Rudolph, 25 yards, providing those 7 more points. And so Wekiva.
That takes us to the end of the third quarter. A 32-point advantage for the Warriors headed into the final 12 minutes. 35-3 is your score going into the fourth quarter.
And Wekiva right now looking to avoid the running clock.
For those of you who are depending on a ride to get home from tonight's game, if you have not already done so, please make sure you give them a call and let them know that we are headed into the fourth quarter and they should be getting ready to head this way. We appreciate your assistance helping our administrators to close the facility and get home to their family promptly after the conclusion of tonight's game. Once again, we want to thank Dr. Baptiste and his team at Baptiste Orthodontics and Pediatric Dentistry for their partnership with Wekiva High School. Again, their newest office is located in the heart of Apopka, across from Kitland Nelson Park, with both orthodontics and pediatric dentistry. For people of all ages, dentistry for kids age 1 to 18. Welcome back to Baptiste Orthodontics Stadium, where we are getting the fourth quarter underway, and we've got a completion on third down to make the conversion. And I believe that is Wasim. Yes, it is. Assad Wasim on the completion for the Warriors. That puts the ball inside the 30 at the 27-yard line. A gain of 9 on the play, 1st and 10.
And Trevor Jackson in at quarterback, hands it off, plowing ahead behind the left side. And that is
run by number 33, Jesse Shannon.
So Shannon with only 3 carries, but certainly making the most. So West Orange thought he had a touchdown, but he's still a little short at the 5-yard line. And Jackson back, runs it over into the corner, incomplete. So it'll be 2nd and goal from the 5.
Pass is incomplete to bring up 2nd and goal from the 6-yard line. And as we get close to the end of today's game, we want to let everyone know that burgers are now 2 for 1 at the concession stand.
Jackson drops back, finds his receiver Wasim, leaps into close down to the end zone.
It is a touchdown. The pass complete to Assad Wasim from Trevor Jackson.
6 yards. And we are now in running clock territory, 41-3. And so Simon Netta will come in to attempt the 6th point after touchdown attempt. 10:32 remaining. Joseph Dooley, the punter, will be holding. Snap down, kick up.
And the kick is good from Jack Simonetta. And that extends the West Orange lead to 42-3 with 10 minutes, 4 seconds remaining in the ballgame.
And so once again, the running clock rule is, as it states, a running clock is in effect once the lead becomes 35 or more points. We are now at 39. And if Wekiva does score to cut that lead back under 35, the clock still does run. So what has been, for the most part, a nip and tuck rivalry, one of the 3 biggest rivalries on Wekiva's schedule. Starts that way with geography, but there's been a number of times over the 13 times the teams have met that there's been playoff implications. This has not been a close game. Tone was set on the opening kickoff. Robinson's going 82 yards on the return for a touchdown, and it's been all West Orange literally since the kickoff. So we are now under 9 minutes as Wekiva takes possession. And Wekiva's gone back to its 2 quarterback system between Tyree Davis and Elijah Rooney. This is Neil Fisher alongside Mark Barchi providing the call. So Rooney in at quarterback leads the team up to the line of scrimmage, which is the 20. 8:06 remaining, drops back, hands off. Cooper taking the end around. And boy, he is slammed to the ground. Trying to get a bit of a surprise on the West Orange defense. No dice though.
Key Cooper on the carry after the handoff from Rooney. Ball is spotted at the 21-yard line for a gain of 1 on the play, 2nd and 9.
So Wekiva is going to drop to 0-3, still searching for that first win under the leadership, the guidance of Jeremiah Rodriguez-Schwartz. West Orange will go to 2-1. And now a pass out of the shotgun. Rooney going deep down towards midfield. A jump ball. And
Pass intended for Christopher Reed falls incomplete.
all said and done, the ball falls harmlessly to the ground. At least if you're looking at that play from the West Orange perspective. 6:54 remaining. We are in a running clock situation. The clock does not stop the rest of the way. But Wekiva will move forward. A penalty.
Flag on the play. Unsportsmanlike conduct is called against the Warriors. That's a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. And a Mustang first down.
So I believe, Mark, Wekiva's actually gained more first downs via West Orange penalties than on their own tonight.
Well, let's see. I can confirm that for you here in a second. Wekiva
They
has
have 3 first downs.
3 first downs that they've earned, 4 from penalties. So there you go. 7 total.
Yeah, and I think that is certainly a stat you can look at, which will tell you the story of this game. Now, I do think Wekiva, in its previous 2 games, well, 3, if you include the preseason game, certainly has improved since Coach Schwartz took over the team in January. The buzzword, the underlying theme has been consistency. And he did say on Monday when I talked to him that the team has become more consistent. I would say that this certainly is a case of West Orange doing more to make it look like Wekiva hasn't progressed in terms of consistency than anything Wekiva has done itself. Rooney drops back again, another long pass along the sideline, and a jump ball, which neither the secondary or the receiver had an opportunity to come up with.
Pass intended for Justin Hutchinson, defended by Matthew McDoom. And that will bring up 2nd and 10 for the Mustangs from their own 36.
Of course, McDoom is a legacy. I believe it was his older brother, Eddie McDoom, played at West Orange. He went on to play for the University of Michigan under Jim Harbaugh. And now Rooney leads the team up again. As Mark just stated, 2nd and 10 at the Wekiva 36, 5:15 remaining. Wekiva certainly would like to at least get some points on the board here in the last 5 minutes. Take some momentum into their next game as they again call rush between the tackles, a 3-yard gain. It'll put the ball, actually a 5-yard gain.
Ball spotted at the 41-yard line for a gain of 5. That brings up 3rd and 5 for the Mustangs.
And Mark, this is also, speaking of stats which really tell the story of this game, the first time Wekiva has faced a 3rd down in which the distance has been 8 yards or less.
Now, so far, Wekiva is 1 of 9 on 3rd down conversions.
Rudy out of the shotgun.
And they're going to be 2 of 10 now.
Yeah, he finds Reed, only his 2nd reception of the game.
Rooney on the pass to Christopher Reed for Mustang, first down.
Reed had come into this game with 14 receptions for 211 yards and 14.5 average per reception.
Ball is spotted at the 50-yard line. That is a completion worth 9 yards.
So right at midfield, under 4 minutes, 3:52 to be exact. Running clock. One back set. Gone 50-50 with 1 and 2 back sets most of the way. The handoff to the 1 back. And I believe that is Brown, who plows ahead, rumbles. Unfortunately, West Orange's defensive line was rumbling as well.
Rooney with the handoff to Brown. No gain on the play. It brings up 2nd and 10 from the 50-yard line.
So, talked about Wekiva looking for its first win of the season, 0-2. So obviously they need a win. West Orange looking for a win to rebound against a very disappointing loss against their biggest rival, Apopka. Rudy snaps, drops back, again deep along the left hash marks. And that was almost intercepted.
Pass nearly intercepted by Matthew McDoom, intended for number 13, Justin Hutchinson.
So once again, another 3rd and long, 10 to be specific. West Orange totaled 346 yards against East River in their opener.
Correction to the previous announcement, the burgers are on sale. It is $2 each. I mistakenly said 2 for 1 a moment ago. $2 each, so a great deal on burgers right now while they last. And you can help support our band program at the concession stand.
Only 83 yards gained against Apopka, 346 against East River, that's West Orange. So they were held to 25% of their production, and they certainly have made up for it tonight. Certainly said a statement that the game against Apopka was an aberration, not the norm. Rooney under pressure, and he just threw that ball right into the hands of Rudolph, who's going to go into the end zone. 20-10-5, score the touchdown. That was actually Ivan Taylor, the freshman, who got the gift and turns it into a touchdown.
Ivan Taylor with a pick 6 for West Orange. And Neil, where do you think he picked that one up?
That was at the 40 or so. Wekiva's 40.
All right, so we'll call that a 60-yard interception return for touchdown for Ivan Taylor.
And I'm not sure exactly what Rooney was seeing there. Again, you know, Rooney is the one of the perfect examples of young and inexperienced when you talk about Wekiva, as Simonetta sets up for the PAT. But still, there was nobody within 10 yards of Taylor when he caught that ball. He was standing flat-footed at the 40-yard line. The receiver was 10 yards behind Taylor. And we are now under a minute. Again, running clock.
Try is up and good from Simonetta. And that will make it a 49-3 ball game.
And that, I think, is going to do it. The clock, again, is running. And nobody's in a hurry to run out and set up the kickoff. Last 10 seconds are now ticking off. A complete domination by West Orange. Javon Robinson taking the opening kickoff, 82 yards to the house, setting the tone.
That takes us to the end of the ball game. 48-3, the final score here in week 3 of our 15th anniversary season. We wanted to thank you so much for coming out to support your Mustang and Warrior athletes. Again, 49-3, the final score here at Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium. Thanks also to those of you who joined us on YouTube or the NFHS Network. Next week, the Mustangs are on the road as they head to Lake Nona to take on the Lions. That'll be a 7 o'clock start on September 24th. Your next chance to catch the Mustangs at home is coming up on October 1st at 7 p.m., and that will be homecoming. We hope that you'll join us for that. That game will be broadcast live as well, in addition to our homecoming court festivities, and our crowning of the King and Queen. Again, that's coming up October 1st. Our thanks to Wekiva Broadcast Production under the direction of Mr. Keith Dickerson for their contributions to the broadcast of tonight's and every Mustang Network program that you watch here on YouTube and the NFHS Network. On behalf of Neil Fisher from the Apache Chief, this is Mark Bochy, the voice of the Mustangs, wishing you a good night and a great weekend. This has been a production of Wekiva High School Athletics in association with Orange Technical College, both a proud part of Orange County Public Schools. Good night from Baptiste Orthodontic Stadium.